Hey guys, welcome to our NFL Week 1 Best Bets video. The 2024 season has finally started this week. NFL football is back. College football just kicked off this past weekend, and now we have week 1 of the NFL coming up. This is our early best bets. Obviously, the first round of the games are still a couple days away, but that doesn't keep us from looking at the sport that we love, taking an in-depth look at every single game, looking at the spreads, the money lines, and the over-unders. We do this every week for every NFL game, and we also do the same thing for every single college football game as well. Go ahead, hit that like button, and subscribe. If you have any comments, drop them below. So week 1 is here. It kicks off Thursday at 8:20 p.m. on NBC. We have a rematch of the AFC Championship game. We have the Baltimore Ravens visiting the defending Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs come in here 3-point favorites. The over-under as of right now is 46.5. Obviously, the Chiefs started out last year really low, dropped their first matchup. They had a lot of drop balls, but this is going to be a better, more rounded Chiefs team. The main thing that stands out to me is they picked up Worthy in the first round of the NFL draft. He's the second coming of Hill. Patrick Mahomes is going to love him. He's a deep threat. The fastest combine time ever for the 40 for the Baltimore Ravens. Obviously, this is one of the best teams in the NFL, just like the Chiefs. They're both top 4 teams. The Ravens have added Derrick Henry, and does he have anything left in the tank? I definitely think so. This is a stacked team. Obviously, you have 2-time MVP award winner Lamar Jackson, 2-time MVP award winner Patrick Mahomes. This game is going to be a duel. It's probably going to go down to the last possession. Both teams have top 3 offenses. Both teams have top 3 defenses. When it comes to who I think is going to win, I'm actually going to go with the Ravens to take this one. So I'm going to go with the upset here. I have the Baltimore Ravens winning this one 24-20, and I'm obviously going with the under here. I would in no way be surprised if the Chiefs win, but I think just like last year, they might start out a little slow, and as the season goes along, they'll get better every single game. The next matchup we're going to take a look at Friday at 8:15 on Peacock. We have football kicking off in Brazil. That's right, kicking off in a completely different country. We'll have the Green Bay Packers versus the Philadelphia Eagles kicking off in Brazil. This is going to be a duel between two of the better young quarterbacks. You have Jalen Hurts versus Jordan Love, both of them with massive contracts. You have Saquon Barkley versus Josh Jacobs, so it's a good quarterback duel, running back duel. Two teams that kind of left things on a little bit of a sour note last season, but they both are very talented squads. They both have new defensive coordinators. They're both very good rosters. The Eagles, obviously 2 years removed from their Super Bowl run. This is a very talented team. They completely fell off the last 2 months of last season, but the talent was there. It just completely hit a roadblock. Packers, young quarterback. Obviously, the Eagles come in here. They are 3-point favorites here. The over-under is 48.5. I think this game could potentially be a very high-scoring game. It could come down to the last possession. I think the Eagles control the fourth quarter. The Packers make a run of it in the fourth, but the Eagles hold on to win. I have them winning this one 28-27, so I do not have them covering, but I will be going with the over. Like I said, this is a potential shootout matchup. The next matchup is going to be Sunday at 1 p.m. on Fox. We have two teams with kind of a quarterback carousal going on. So you're obviously going to have the newly revamped Atlanta Falcons with their new coach, and then you have the Steelers with Mike Tomlin. They have Russell Wilson. They have Justin Fields. As of right now, Russell Wilson is getting the nod, but I would not be surprised if we do see Justin Fields in some packages. He's too amazing with the football in his hands to keep him off the field. For the Falcons, obviously you have Kirk Cousins coming in. He hasn't gotten to play that much, but he's a gunslinger. He's going to be slinging it. They have weapons. They have Bijan Robinson. They have Algier. They have Landon. They have Kyle Pitts. The weapons are there. You have Michael Penix on the sidelines, but if his time comes, he is ready to come in and sling it. You have the Falcons here favored by 3. The over-under is 40.5. This game could go either way. The reason that I say that is we know that the Steelers are going to have a top 10 physical defense. We know that Kirk Cousins has not played much at all preseason, so he might be a little rusty. I think that's what's going to keep this game close. Is I am going to favor the Falcons to win, but I think that Kirk Cousins just might not be full Kirk Cousins yet and might be a little rusty with the playbook, and that kind of keeps the game closer than it would be if they were firing on all cylinders. But I have the Falcons winning this one 20-17, so that's going to come in here with a push, and then I also have this game going as the under. Our next matchup, Sunday at 1 p.m. on CBS, we have the Arizona Cardinals visiting the Buffalo Bills. The Bills here are 6-point favorites. The over-under is 48.5. The Bills, this is going to be a different Bills team than we've become accustomed to. They had salary cap issues the last few seasons. They did trade off Diggs. They lost a lot of pieces on the defensive side, but they still have Josh Allen. He's always an MVP candidate. Last season, he had a really bad first half. Lit it up the second half. One of the most electric quarterbacks in the NFL in all-around talent skills. But Diggs is gone. They bring in Keon Coleman. They have Curtis Samuel. So there's still some weapons there. But it's going to be a little different seeing them play without Diggs. So it might take them a couple possessions till they kind of get things ironed out. For the Cardinals, you have Kyler Murray fully healthy as of right now. What version of Kyler Murray are we going to see? The one who lights it up, scrambles, runs, throws down the field, or the one who hasn't taken the game seriously and hasn't been practicing the playbook off the field? We don't know, but they did bring in Marvin Harrison Jr., one of the best college wide receivers of the last decade. That's definitely going to help them. They're going to be able to score, but will they be able to generate a pass rush on defense? That's the biggest question mark. I have the Bills winning this one easily, 30-20. I am going with them covering the spread, and I'll also be going with the over. Our next matchup Sunday, 1 p.m. on Fox, we have the Tennessee Titans visiting the Chicago Bears. The Bears are 4.5-point favorites here. The over-under 45.5. We have two young quarterbacks facing off. We have Levis versus Caleb Williams, the number one pick, the Heisman winner out of USC. He had ups and downs during the preseason, but anyone who watched him at Oklahoma and at USC knows he has a certain set of skills that separate him from everyone else. He has the ability to completely take over any game that he is in. He has weapons. He has Keenan Allen, veteran. He has Rome Odunze, a electric potential number one massive wide receiver coming out of Washington. The weapons are there. The issue for the Bears is how's their defense going to do this year, again, with a young quarterback leading the helm. Titans, they just have a lot of question mark. Yes, Will Levis did show some flashes last season, but they don't have a great offense, and they don't have a good defense. So you definitely see why the Bears are favored here. I have the Bears winning this one in kind of a sloppy first half game, but they hold on to win 24-21. I do not have them covering the spread, and I'll be going with the under. Our next matchup at 1 p.m. on CBS on Sunday, we have the New England Patriots with a new coach visiting the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a pretty big spread here for an NFL game. You have the Bengals favored by 9, but it definitely makes sense. And the over-under is 40.5. For the Patriots, obviously, they drafted Drake May out of UNC. Showed some flashes, looked pretty bad at times during the preseason. I didn't necessarily think he was a first-round quarterback personally. And the Patriots, they have no direction. They don't have a good defense coming out of last season. They don't have a good roster, so I really don't know what to expect from this team. But I know why the spread is so far. Because the Bengals, you have Joe Burrow starting out the year fully healthy, one of the best wide receiver cores. They can run the ball. The offensive line is much improved over the last 2 years. They're a far superior team than the Patriots. I have the Bengals winning this one 27-17, covering the spread, and I'm going with the over. Our next matchup, Sunday at 1 p.m., we have the Houston Texans visiting the Indianapolis Colts. The Texans are the road, are 3-point favorites here. The over-under is 49.5. Obviously, with the Texans, you have C.J. Stroud in his second season. He lit things up last year. He was one of the best rookies we've seen at the quarterback position in a long time. He completely took control of this team, and he has Houston looking at a very bright future going forward. And it's one of the best quarterback wide receiver duos in the entire nation. And then you have the Colts. Obviously, Richardson got hurt early last season, so we didn't get to see his full potential, what he's capable. Him coming out of Florida, I did not personally see first-round potential there. but a lot of people were very high on him. He obviously showed some flashes of what he could be capable of, but we just need to see him for a full season because we were robbed of that last year. But Texans 3-point favorites, over under 49.5. I have the Texans winning this one on the road. I have them winning 27-21, covering the spread, but I'm going to go with the under here. Our next matchup, Sunday, 1 p.m. on CBS, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars visiting the Miami Dolphins. The in-state matchup here. The state bragging rights are on the line. Jacksonville visiting Miami. Miami comes in 3.5-point favorites here, which I honestly thought that was kind of low. The over-under is 49.5. The reason I thought that was low, it's not a knock on the Jags. They're a very good team, a playoff caliber team if they play the way they're capable of. For the Dolphins, they are a playoff team. Their division is up for grabs this season. You have Tua with his contract. You have Hill. You have Waddle. Probably a top 3 or 4 offensive roster. They're going to light things up. I don't see the Jags capable of stopping the Dolphins. We all know the Dolphins score a lot of points the first 2 to 3 months of the season. Then they kind of taper off the backside, but it's really hard to stop them, especially if this game turns into a shootout. I have Miami winning this one 30-20, winning it pretty handedly. I have them covering the spread, and I'm going with the over. The next matchup, Sunday, 1 p.m. on Fox, the Carolina Panthers visiting the New Orleans Saints. Saints 4-point favorites here, the over-under 40.5. This game, to me, just has low scoring written all over it. Two teams that struggled on offense last season. Obviously, the Panthers really struggled. They averaged 13.9 points a game. Bryce Young did not look good his rookie campaign. There was a couple possessions where he showed what he was capable of, but this team is just not loaded with offensive skill position players. They have Adam Thielen. He's a veteran. He's the go-to guy. They'll be better this season, though. Bryce Young should be better, but how much better can he really be without some first-round wide receiver threats on this roster? For the Saints, obviously Carr, they struggled on offense. He was not throwing the ball accurately past 5 to 10 yards. They have a defense, though. This is a very good team on the roster. They just did not play up to their potential last season. But I have the Saints winning this one at home. I have them winning 24-17. That's covering the spread, and I'm just barely going with the under. Our next matchup, Sunday, 1 p.m. on Fox, the Minnesota Vikings visiting the New York Giants. The Vikings on the road are 1-point favorites here. The over-under is 41.5. This game has just a god-awful, boring slugfest written all over it. Two teams that are probably going to struggle on offense the whole season. Two teams that really aren't going anywhere. And it's a shame because the Vikings have Jefferson. They just don't have a quarterback that can get him the ball. J.J. McCarthy, he's hurt. He's out for the year. So Sam Darnold is going to get the nod. For the Giants, they're rolling out again Daniel Jones. Obviously, they have to because they signed him to that crazy contract. So they're paying him. They're probably going to have to play him. Giants, Vikings, neither team has a good defense. Neither team has a good offense. But the Giants, to kind of cancel out Jefferson, they have Neighbors. He's going to be a legitimate wide receiver coming out of LSU. I'm going to go with the Giants due to the experience factor. Daniel Jones, he's going to be mobile. He's going to scramble for first downs. They're going to control the clock, run downhill, and they'll have the better defense. I have the Giants winning this one 16-13, covering the spread, but I'm going to go with the under this game. Like I said, this has low scoring written all over it to me. The next matchup we're going to take a look at, we're moving into our 4 p.m. slot game, Sunday at 4:05 p.m. on CBS. We have the Las Vegas Raiders visiting the Los Angeles Chargers. For the Raiders, you have Antonio Pierce. He's the full-time head coach. This is a team that really stepped up and played a lot better once he took over as the head coach. They played better on offense. They played better on defense, really physical on the defensive side. And then you have the Chargers, who have a really great roster, and they never play to what they're capable of. But Staley's gone. Harbaugh comes in. Harbaugh might look sloppy for the first couple games, but I think he's going to get this team on track. Justin Herbert's going to be very thankful that he has an offensive head coach. I think he's going to work wonders with Herbert, be able to maximize his full potential. And as I mentioned, a really good roster. They just have to get them all on the page at the same time. Chargers 3-point favorites here at home. The over-under 41.5. I have the Chargers winning this one 20-17 push, and I'm going to go with the under. Like I said, it might be ugly at times, but have faith in Harbaugh. Next game we're going to look at Sunday, 4:05 on CBS. The Denver Broncos visiting the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle 5.5-point favorites. The over-under 41.5. Obviously, Denver, you have Sean Payton completely fire-sailing the whole team. Bo Nix is going to be getting the nod as the starter. He's an efficient quarterback that does not throw very many interceptions. That's exactly what Sean Payton wants, someone who is accurate, who can dink and dunk. That's his style of offense. Then you have Seattle. Geno Smith had a great, solid season last year. He has a veteran team. He has DK Metcalf. He has Walker at running back. Look for them to lean on the running game, control the clock. I have Seattle winning this one, 24-20. I do not have them covering, but I will be going with the over. The next matchup, this one has the makings to me personally to be one of the funnest games of week one. We have the Dallas Cowboys visiting the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland at home, 2.5-point favorites here. The over-under 42.5. This is two top 10 defenses from last season. These defenses are going to get after it. This is going to be a really physical game. Deshaun Watson, I wouldn't really put much faith there. He's capable of a lot. He just doesn't seem to have the drive to want to succeed every week at the NFL level, but he has a lot of personal things going on. For the Cowboys, you have Dak back. You have CeeDee Lamb, who ended the holdout. Obviously, he's a top 5 wide receiver in the country. He really stepped up last season, and they have that great defense. Defense travels. I respect the Browns a lot. I pulled for them a lot last season when they had Flacco and stuff. They have a good defense also, but Dallas's should be better. It's going to travel. They have the better quarterback, the better offensive roster. I have Dallas winning on the road, 24-17. I do not have the Browns covering the spread, and I will be going with the under. These are two really good defensive teams. The next matchup we're looking at Sunday at 4:25 p.m. on Fox. We have the Washington Commanders on the road versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs are 3.5-point favorites here at home, over under 43.5. Washington, obviously they drafted Jaden Daniels in the first round of the NFL draft. He's had a great preseason. For the Bucs, they have Baker Mayfield, who has also previously won the Heisman. He had a really great comeback season last year. They were moving the ball, great wide receiver core, and they had a very physical, good defense, especially on the defensive line. That got them into the playoffs last season. They're fresh off the playoffs. They have the better team than Washington, but Washington actually wasn't bad last season. Their offensive line was completely atrocious, but they have a very mobile quarterback right now. But they actually had weapons. They could move the ball, pass the ball last year. Their defense, though, was Swiss cheese. I have the Bucs winning this one at home, 27-20, covering the spread, and I'm going with the over. But I think it's going to be really fun to watch Jaden Daniels play. The next matchup, Sunday at 8:20 p.m. on NBC, a really fun, potentially high-scoring, shoot-it-out game. We have the LA Rams visiting the Detroit Lions. And with the Rams, obviously, Donald's gone, but you have Matthew Stafford playing his old team. There's the revenge factor. This game is going to be personal for both sides. They have a lot of really great offensive weapons. Williams, Cooper Kupp, Nakua. There's a lot of weapons there. They're going to be able to move the ball. Detroit is a very well-balanced team. A top 10 offense, top 10 defense, fresh off their playoff run last season. This is a Super Bowl contending caliber NFL team. They want to start out the year hot. They've owned the second half the last 2 seasons. They want to get started out really hot like they did last year, run through the regular season, get a high seeding, and potentially really compete for the Super Bowl. This is a very aggressive team when it comes down to fourth downs. They play to win. I love that. I have the Lions winning at home, but it could come down to whoever has the ball last possessions. But I have the Lions winning this one, 27-23, covering the spread, and I'm just barely going with the under, but I wouldn't be surprised if that moves down by kickoff. And our final matchup Monday night, this is going to be a really fun game to watch. We have the New York Jets at the San Francisco 49ers Monday at 8:20 p.m. on ABC. The San Francisco 49ers, 3.5-point favorites here. They were so close to winning the Super Bowl last year, but they couldn't finish it. The over-under 43.5. This is going to be two teams with top 10 defenses. The 49ers having a top 3 overall defense. The 49ers probably have the best top-to-bottom roster in the NFL on both sides of the ball, including special teams. But the story is the Jets. Rodgers is back. They have weapons on offense. We only got to see him one possession last season. He's probably going to be really rusty, has not played much at all preseason-wise, but we've all seen Rodgers play for a really long time. We know what he can do. Can he still do it at his age? I think so. But it's probably going to take a couple weeks for him to get fully going. But they have a solid defense that will always keep the game close. We already know the San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy loaded on the offensive side at every single position. Top to bottom, loaded defense. I have the 49ers winning this one 24-20. So a close game, but yet covering the spread. And I'm going with the over. So that's our breakdown of our week 1 best bets. As I mentioned, hit that like button and subscribe. If you have any comments, drop them below, and I'll respond. Thank you.